Today, I find myself being lowered into the earth below. My loved ones watch on as the dirt is placed over my casket. Everything for my funeral has been perfect, except there's just one tiny little issue. What music disc should my funeral have? Well, luckily, I have 21 music discs that may or may not be appropriate for the occasion. So for today, the criteria is going to be this. Does it match the situation? Ability to reflect my personality, tone, and of course, the enjoyability. So as always, let's hop right in and see which music disc is a musical masterpiece and which disc is a catchy catastrophe. We're going to kick off today's list with the eerie music from C418 known as 13, which I will be playing in the background of this video to listen to. Now, that bell and that background audio make me immediately think of a funeral, but I do think of this funeral as one that creeps out people more so than does anything else, and it does make me think that they are glad that I am about to be buried. 13 is a music disc that makes me think I'm gonna come back to life as some form of ghoul or ghost to haunt those who belittled me during life. I do think 13 fits a funeral tone, but the song seems to mourn my life more than celebrate. But since it does immediately make me think of a funeral that is just too dark in tone, I guess, I'm still gonna give it the A tier. So from a dark, ominous tone, we move on to a much more lighthearted music disc, Cat. Now, this is a joyous song that warms up the hearts of anyone with an earshot. I think if this is played at my funeral, it would be used more as a celebration of my life, more so than my life's demise. People would be crying, hopefully, since I'm gone, but we'll still be thinking of the fond memories I had with them when we built that sweet TNT cannon we pointed at the villages. I believe Cat has a perfect tone and matches the moment in a more celebratory fashion. I do think 13 is a funeral song, but Cat, it's more of a celebration, and it's one that I thoroughly enjoy, so I'm going to give it the high honors of S tier. So we're going to move on to another C418 masterpiece, Blocks. Blocks feels like a song that hits more towards people's nostalgia than anything else. I like to think people cry when they hear this in my funeral, some because they will miss me and others because they are remembering what we used to do together. Now, Cat is once again a celebration of life song, while Blocks relies on the people's memories they had forged with me. You play Blocks to remember the horse update or the old cobblestone textures. With good memories tagging along, Blocks is going to follow Cat all the way in the tip top and be placed into the S tier. Following Blocks, we move to Chirp, which immediately gives me old-timey music that made me think I perished from something like old age. Now, it does give off a somber, creepy melody at the beginning that transforms to more melancholy as the song progresses, and I do think that is beautiful. But that beginning section of the song might be off-putting to my funeral attendees. Some might even think that the people who played the song at my funeral just didn't like me from hearing the beginning of Chirp. Overall, it is still a decent tune in my eyes, so I'm gonna give Chirp the B tier. We move to the properly named music disc Far, which sounds like someone is staring off into a distant land that is mysteriously covered in like a light fog. Either that or Far sounds like a ringtone that some old man would have blaring while at the movie theater. Now, Far is enjoyable and does bring on a sense of nostalgia, but in my opinion, it does not perfectly match the tone set by a funeral. If someone played this, I would enjoy the song, but I would also question if this is a song that's really necessary to play at a funeral. Still, Far isn't horrible by any stretch of the imagination, but I do find it for this video to be kind of mid-tiered, so I'm going to place it into the C tier. Following Far, we go to Mall, which is what I would describe as the comfy, cozy soundtrack that you enjoy while you enjoy a cup of hot chocolate next to a fire. Does this song match any situation or reflect my personality to any extent? No. I don't think so. Again, I do still enjoy the song, and I think a lot of people would enjoy it, but Mall is something you enjoy while alone watching the rain fall on your back porch, not one you enjoy while hearing a eulogy about me as well. Now, Mall isn't so bad that it's going to go into the F tier, but I'm going to place it one tier above and throw it into the D tier. Following up, we found Mellow High, a tune that makes anyone who listens to it at my funeral think of some old horror movie. It sounds regal and elegant, but also makes me seem like I was always some stuck-up, pompous person who always looked down on my fellow people. I'm going into my casket. I'm not expecting to rise up again with my arms crossed like I am Dracula or something. Mellow High is a candidate for the bottom on this tier list, so it will of course go into the F tier. From Mellow High, we go to Stall, where we hear that simple jazz-like music overtake us as if we were some detective investigating where my stacks of emeralds ran off to. Or it sounds like a coffee bar where someone is reading off some poetry. So here's the poetry I would have read at my funeral. That other guy, buried beneath the ground, so gone, so lost, that's what made me frowned. That other guy, didn't know there was lava there. That other guy, where did your items go? Who knows where. Now, Stall just does not really match up with anything, but I do find it slightly better of a choice than that of Mellow High, so I'm gonna knock it a tier above and I'm gonna throw it into the D tier. The steel drum playing Strad is next, where once again I feel the tone within the song is something that makes people reminisce. This song is something I would think would be played while people are being ushered in before the funeral has really even started. Tears aren't flowing yet, instead people are just trying to find if their family is big enough to fit inside the pews. Strad would be the song that's forgotten about and no one remembers it being played in the first place. It somewhat fits the beginning of my funeral enough where, I mean, I can at least throw it into a decent tier, so with that I'm gonna give Strad the B tier. Now, let's listen to the first 6 seconds of Ward. How on earth does that not sound like funeral music? Ward even transitions to a more dance-like, upbeat, and yet somber song that I think would have people dancing to within a minute of it playing. This music disc would have both sides of a funeral, and by that I mean the mourning side and the celebratory side within a 4-minute song. It matches what I set out for in music discs to play at my funeral, and it makes me think that there's no better spot to put it. So with that, of course, Ward is going to go in the tip top into the S tier. Now, we go from S tier material into F tier material. 11. 11 is the song I would play if I wanted people to think I was being buried alive as some, like, secondhand prank that would just fall flat. Otherwise, there really isn't anything else to say. 11 goes into the F tier. Wait, or previously known as Where Are We Now, is next up. It's the song you play when you're relaxing on a beanbag, eating some Doritos, not the song you play when someone sees your casket up at the front. Wait does have some decent moments that matches the tone of the funeral, but overall, it's just not the song that I would want played. It is enjoyable, but it just does not match the tone. So with that, I'm gonna give Wait the middle of the pack and throw it into the C tier. We're gonna leave now from the Masterclass Music Writer C418, where we find the next music disc, Pigstep. Pigstep came along with another update, so, not exactly the song you want to hear at a funeral for all intents and purposes. Unless I was just that hated in life, then maybe I deserved Pigstep being played at my funeral. But I'm the one choosing. I choose, and I don't like it. I don't want that at my funeral. So I'm gonna give it the bottom and give it the F tier. Moving on from Pigstep, we find the ancient city banger Other Side, which is, again, properly named for a funeral. Now, Other Side to me is the one song that follows in the footsteps of Cat, and what I mean by that is it is a song you play to celebrate the life of someone. We play this to remember the fond times, the diamonds we mined, and the villagers we kept in that pen until we got one who had mending. Other Side sounds like the song you play at the end of a video game. I mean, that's perfect for what we need. I have no issue in giving Other Side the tip-top S tier. We go to Creator, where for the first 15 seconds, there's just so much raw emotion that I think it would get people tearing up within just seconds of hearing it. And then the rest of the song happens, and everyone loses that emotion, and it's replaced with confusion of why, like, some ballet song is being played. Creator still has some emotion and matches the tone a little bit. I mean, it's okay enough for me to give the B tier. As for the music box version of Creator, that music box encapsulates what the previous version lost after the first 15 seconds. This variation seems a lot better suited, in my opinion, for the funeral compared to that of the other version of Creator, but not perfect, as the song itself is a little bit simple, and it still does remind me of a ballet. But, I mean, I can at least knock it a tier above the other version, and so I'm gonna throw the music box version of Creator into the A tier. Next is the music disc crafted from 5 shards, properly named 5. It's the same as 11, but instead, this time it doesn't even seem like a prank where I'm trying to dig myself out. Throw 5 into the F tier. We're gonna move on to Relic, which in my mind just immediately reminds me of old school RuneScape with the simple notes and upbeat melody. I personally love Relic and think it is the one that I would enjoy being played at my funeral, but overall, it might be seen as a wrong song selection by others. It kinda does, kinda doesn't match the vibes a funeral gives. Some people would just tune the song out is all I know. So with that, I'm gonna give Relic a pretty solid tier still, and I'm gonna give it the B tier. The non-Christmas song that still has bells in it is next, Precipice. I love the intro of the song, and it's definitely one of those celebration of life songs, but when the song gets further along, it kind of loses the subtle tone and makes me think I am playing Deltarune more so than attending a funeral. And the typewriters in the background are an interesting choice. It makes me think that if it was played at my funeral, it is a sign that I worked too hard and didn't fully live my life, living instead behind some typewriter. But I still think Precipice is a very solid choice, so I'm gonna throw that one into the A tier. The gas theme music disc Tears is next, and I have nothing I could say that would convince people at my funeral that this song was played because I am now some ghost that is going to haunt you. That's it. I understand Tears displays the complexity of Ghasts and their vocal abilities, but as for me, it just puts me in an extremely bad light. Tears is one of those ones I'm gonna have to put into the F tier. And lastly, we have the Minecraft movie song Lava Chicken, where we can hear the musicized version of Jack Black singing in the game itself. This is the song you play when we have some rowdy toddler who needs to stop moving around and sit down and be quiet. It works for that intent, but otherwise it's an extremely poor contender. But at least the little kid is just singing along now. Just for that reason alone, Lava Chicken is one of those ones that I can move above the F tier and put into the D tier. No one likes a rowdy toddler, and that is going to be another tier list down. Today, we learned what songs you should play at a funeral and which ones you should just keep to yourself and enjoy with friends in Minecraft. Of course, I gotta say, this tier list is perfect. Tune in next time for another exciting tier list that is sure to knock your blocky socks off. But until next time, folks, adios.